All right, I think I'm live here. Let me just check on YouTube. I've never done this before, so bear with me with this live YouTube feed going on here. I'm going to have to check on my phone here one sec. Okay, cool. Looks like I'm live here. Hey guys, thanks for typing in the chat. So I can see that you guys can see my screen now. It's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a look at these new tools that FantasyLabs has put up, the stack feature. So I saw Jonathan Bales tweet something out about this, and I haven't really checked it out yet. I just quickly looked at it, but I haven't tried building a lineup yet. So I'm just going to mess around with it for tonight's slate and try to build a GPP lineup for myself. I'll probably throw it in a cheap contest just in case other people throw it in as well. There's no point of having the same lineup as other people in GPP. So I'll build one, probably throw it in like a $3 contest or something just to see how it does. So if you log into your FantasyLabs account, you can click on the stacks button over here on the right hand side, and you can pick your stack size. For GPP, I usually like to do 4 or 5. So I'll start with, I'll try to do a full stack here. So I'll go 5 players, and I'm going to go with my rating, and that's going to use my Sports Geek model rating. And then I'm also going to go here, and I'm going to leave it at confirmed and projected. So because of this, I'm going to have to check to make sure the players that I build in this lineup are actually in the lineup. But I'm going to use that just because I want to have some exposure or be able to use some guys in the late games, which the lineups aren't announced yet. So if you were building the lineup right before game time, maybe just before 7 or something, and most of the lineups are in, you can just use confirmed. But other than that, I would mostly use confirmed and projected, and then just change out your players if they aren't in the lineup. So we'll start with that, and we'll see what it brings up. So as you can see here, it's going to bring up 5-man stacks from teams, and it's going to sort it by the total rating for those players. So for the Sports Geek model, the best stack for the rating wise is going to be a Washington stack, and it's not going to be necessarily in order. So for this one, it's 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. Sorry, just looking at the chat here on my phone. Looks like there's a couple people in. 11 people watching. Cool. Maybe I can share this. Let me see if I can share this just so we can get some more people. Try to share this link on Twitter. Give me a sec, guys. Cool. All right, I shared that. So it looks like we should have some more people join from Twitter. All right, so back to this. Sorry. You can see on the right here, so it's got the stacks. It's going to show you, it's not going to be necessarily in order. So the top stack rating wise is going to be Washington 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. And then if you look, actually the second one is still a Washington, but instead of going 6, 7, it's going 6, 8. So we're just swapping out one player there for that lineup. So I'm going to take a look at, let's take a look at the lineups here. So this is GPP. So I got to check if Washington is going to be a chalky play. If they're going to be popular, I might not use them. You can see here they're expected to score 5.3 runs. So I usually go down here and kind of look at the different Vegas run totals. I'm going to set it to, how do I do that? Oh, here we go. Set it to 7 o'clock games only, or the 7 o'clock slate only. So there's 8 games in the slate. So Washington's got a team total of 5.3. And I don't think anyone else has a team total in the 5. So I think Washington is going to be a pretty chalky play. But with this stack here, you can see that it's recommending 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. So what a lot of people would do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possibly, or 2 to 6 or something. So by changing it up like that, you can go a little contrarian by not going with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stack. If you look here, we can go 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 and be a little contrarian. But for GPPs, I like to be a little more contrarian than going with the most popular team, which I think will be Washington tonight. So let's take a look at some other stacks here. We've got St. Louis 1 to 5. That might be a decent stack. You can see they're at home against the Royals. I was looking at some BVP, some batting versus pitcher stats earlier, and these guys do rake against Chris Young, so that might be a good play. They might go over their team total, their projected total here, which is 4.6, so they might have a big night. I might like the Cardinals. They might be a popular play as well, Cardinal stack and GPPs, but probably a little less popular than the Nationals, who are going up against Finnegan at home. So we'll keep that in mind. I might go with the Cardinals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters. Cleveland going up against Dickey. It's recommending the number one stack here is going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 as far as rating is concerned. You don't always have to go with that. If you think it's more correlated to go 1 to 5, you could do that as well. It's just showing you the top, the projected or the total rating, the top total rating stack. So you wouldn't always have to just go with the 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 hitters if you see that Cleveland is projected, has a high rating here. So if you scroll down, Cleveland shows up a couple times, St. Louis, Washington. So I think I'm gonna lock in the Cardinals 1 to 5 stack. I like 1 to 5 stacks, a lot of correlation. If you can get guys hitting back to back to back and scoring runs. So let's try that. It's not too contrarian, just because they do have one of the highest implied team totals of the night. They'll probably be pretty popular. Another thing you want to look at is pricing too. So that's just going by rating. It's not really showing you the value of the players. So these guys are all pretty expensive. So maybe they won't be as popular. And I'm guessing Washington players are going to be pretty expensive as well. So Washington players are actually a little bit cheaper than St. Louis. So you're actually getting some good value there, which might mean they're more popular, but it might allow you to spend up on pitching. So let's just take a look. I'll lock into St. Louis. We'll just go with the St. Louis stack here and go over to pitchers, and I'll check what I can do with my pitchers. So what you could do is optimize. You could just lock in your stack and then optimize it. But let's see if we can do this. So like I said, I haven't really tried the stacks. Let's see if I can go back and do a three person stack from a team, and then load that in with the other 5. I'm not sure if that works, because the positions are going to there's going to be some overlap there with the positions. So let's just see if that does work. Miami 136. Just go with the top one here. No, see, yeah, it erases the old one. So what you're going to have to do is, after you get a stack, you're going to have to, so where was the one that see, the ratings are changing all the time. St. Louis is now 327. Interesting. Oh, it's probably because Miami's lineup was confirmed while I was doing this. Possibly. Or did I screw something up there? Like I said, I'm new to this, so I'm just trying to figure it out myself as well. So here's Miami. Where's Miami at? Okay, so Miami's got a Vegas implied team total of 4.7. They've got a good rating right now. I'm not sure what caused their ratings to jump while I was doing the lineup building. But let's just go back and stick with the St. Louis, because maybe St. Louis won't be as popular as I thought. Let's stick with that just for this lineup build here. I'm just entering this lineup into like a $3 contest or something. So I'm not too worried. I'm not doing too much research. I'm just kind of showing you guys how to use the tool as I learn myself. So we've got a five person stack from St. Louis now. And now we can lock in 2 starting pitchers if we want, or we could just hit optimize up here, or we could lock in all the pitchers or all the positions manually. But I'm going to start off. I like to lock in at least 1 pitcher before I use the optimizer. So Gio Gonzalez is rated the highest at home against Cincinnati, and he's a pretty good price. I like to look at the recent game logs. Yeah, you can see why he's so cheap right now. He's been struggling, but he is a solid pitcher. You can see here, before his last 2 starts, he put up 20 and 25 DraftKings points. So it's kind of just trying to figure out if he's going to rebound or if he's in a bit of a rut now and still going to continue to struggle. So I've got about $5,000 per player remaining here. So I'm going to have to go kind of cheap with 1 starting pitcher. So I will take a risk on Gio. I'm going to trust my model here. They're at home. They're pretty big favorites. So I'll lock in Gio into my lineup. Let's just take a look at the catchers here to see if anyone sticks out. Again, we want to be spending around $3,000 or so. Maybe a little less than that on these remaining players so that we have enough for a decent pitcher. Because you can see here the top rated pitchers below Gio were around 10,000. It drops to 7,700 with Odorizzi, 94 with Matt. So let's try to lock in a couple cheap position players here. So we got a 58 there. Okay. One sec, just gonna check out my cell phone to see if there's any live. I can't see any live comments here when I'm building it on my computer. I have to check my phone for the live comments. Is there sound? Can you guys hear me? Someone asked, is there sound? There should be sound. Let me just double check that. If you guys could write in the comments if you guys could hear me, that would be awesome. Yeah, it should be working, but yeah, someone can hear me. Okay, perfect. All right, let's move on to outfielder here. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave a comment and I'll check my phone occasionally. Moving on to outfielder, let's just lock in Seth Smith at 3,100 and see where that leaves us. So that's giving us, an average of, that should be enough. We might have to go with, drop down here to Odorizzi at home against Detroit. Let's see what that leaves us with. 4,000 for a catcher. And you can kind of take your pick from these cheap guys here. So you could do that and you could just build it by hand. Or let's take out a couple guys. And let's just let's use the optimizer and get the absolute best combination here. Let's see what it brings. So it did something similar. Went cheaper with catcher. We got Worth in there in the outfield, and it gave us Odorizzi. So that would be how I would build a lineup using these stacks. Obviously, I would do more research into the players if I was playing for more money, but I was just building this for fun for a $3 contest just to show you guys how the new stacks tool works, and I was kind of learning on the fly as well. So that's pretty cool. And then another thing, I saw Bales doing his video, so let me just save this one lineup, and I'm gonna take out these players here. Let's just stick with the stack here, and what you could do is you could just generate multiple lineups. You could go, I would leave max exposure to 100 because you're going to need the stack in every lineup. And then the ratings, let's try to keep it above 55. And for the pitcher, Let's just keep it above 50. It's good enough. And minimum salary cap, let's try to use 99.2%. And if you want to build 10 more lineups, let's see what happens here. So it's using your stack. So the 5 guys I had locked in, it's using those in every single lineup, and then it's filling in the gaps. So you can see here down the right the exposures of the other players, with the max being 50%. So that gives you a little more variety. So you could submit this St. Louis 1 to 5 stack with 10 different lineups, and it's giving you your best rated lineups using the model that you're using. So that's pretty cool. Definitely a tool that I'm going to be using quite a bit building my lineups. I'm always doing stacks for GPPs. You can definitely have a really poor night when you use a 5-player stack from a team, but if that team goes off for 9 or 10 runs or something like that, and those players go off for big nights, you can definitely place high and maybe take down a GPP. So I love using stacks, and this new tool from FantasyLabs looks excellent. So check it out for yourselves. I've got a link to FantasyLabs in the YouTube description below. If you don't have an account yet, sign up through that link. That will get you the best offer they have going at the time. All right, good luck in any contest you enter tonight, guys. Cheers.